Greetings, everybody. I'm here to answer the question, should prisoners be allowed to have conjugal visits in Jamaica? This is a hot topic the last week or so, and I've been asked to speak on it for a while. First thing I want to say is prison is said to be a place of rehabilitation. Therefore, I tend to look at it as a place that you encourage others to change their behavior. Rehabilitation denotes change, not condemnation. Secondly, I also want to say that within these prison walls, there are many innocent persons. Now, if you listen to prisoners, you'd think that everybody who's there is innocent, but there are people there who are innocent, especially Black persons who are not wealthy, who sometimes can't afford to prove their innocence. Number three, going to jail doesn't mean that the thing you've done is so horrible that we have to see you as someone who should rot. Anybody can go to jail, and you don't have to steal, you don't have to kill. Simple thing, ignorance of the law itself can cause someone to go to prison. For example, let me give you the example with Martha Stewart. I did not know this. She might have known this, but she went to prison for acting on a stock tip. And the impression that I have, and if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me, but the impression I got is that she had stocks and found out that those stocks were dropping in value or price, and she took her stocks out, acting on a stock tip to make sure that she didn't lose money, and she ended up in prison. So when we look at examples like this, individuals go to jail for smoking a spliff. The same ganja that is being legalized right now have people behind bars rotting away. Some have already died for smoking pot. Okay? So prison was not built for animals, it was built for people. And prison now is a business. So when we approach the topic, let's take those things in mind. Having said that, I'm saying that when you analyze or you assess the situation, giving prisoners conjugal rights, it's a privilege that I think some people should have. There are individuals who have their family. When you look at the crime itself, you have to examine the crime itself to analyze if you want to give such a privilege, because it's not a right, it's a privilege, but one that some persons deserve. Now, Vybz Kartel is behind bars, and many people who are kicking out against conjugal rights or visits, when they think of Vybz Kartel, they would not say no, he can't have his wife come to visit him. He is now serving a long time in prison for a crime that people are not sure about. It's all based on circumstantial evidence. He could or could not have done it. And so for his wife to go and see him to strengthen the bonds, let's keep it real. Sex strengthens the bonds of marriage or relationship. So who does it hurt? If the person is already behind bars, who does it hurt to have that individual's husband or wife come to visit them to spend the weekend? It's a privilege that is granted in most first world countries. And so when we're saying we're always the hardest on our own people, how does that affect you? And how does it stop criminal activities or people from committing crime by not allowing them to have sex with their partners? Another thing that I don't understand, in my country, we are homophobic, if we're going to fit the description of homophobia. And that's a different topic. Where did this come from? How did this start? How did we get to be this in the first place? I personally am not homophobic. I'm always very open, and I'm always the kind of person that says, you know what, I have to be very careful. I tread the line very thin when it comes to oppression, because I know what it's like as a Black woman to be oppressed. So even if there's some things that I don't agree with, I don't want to impose my own ideas on persons. I've said that many times. But for a culture or African place in the world that doesn't promote men going together with men or women going together with men, why would you then have a problem with men who already have their wives or their girlfriends or their baby mothers visiting them in jail. They're already going there and supporting them, bringing food, bringing sustenance, one form or the other. Why are you so tied up with the fact that individuals are going to be able to have conjugal visits with their families or their loved ones? It doesn't make sense. Once again, I think Black people war about the wrong things. We want to seek oppression. We fight against oppression, and yet we seek to be more oppressive of each other than anyone else. Conjugal rights is something that is not new. To Jamaica it is. And I find that whenever Jamaicans are asked to embrace change, it's a very difficult thing. I'm saying having somebody go to prison and visit their loved one in a supervised situation does no harm to anyone. It neither promotes violence or dissuade it. Those are two different things. It doesn't have any impact on if crime rate increases or decreases. And if you think it does, then examine the other places in the world where individuals have these rights and there's still crime. It's the same way you're always rushing out to say, let's bring back hanging, it's going to stop crime. Crime in Jamaica is not just caused from random persons who can't control themselves. Crime is caused from the poverty that exists and the individuals who control the power using those people who are poor to do their dirty work in disguise. So I'm not against individuals going to have sex in prison. Not at all. What I'm against is seeing people go to prison, sometimes innocently, and sometimes go there for struggles. You never know what you're capable of doing until you're faced with that situation where you have to make the right decision. And you better be mindful that someone does not accuse you of something falsely and you cannot prove that you're innocent. It happens all the time. Therefore, when you see persons coming out of prison after spending 15, 20 years behind bars, when you look at some of the celebrity and see how women are accusing them of things that they may or may not have done, and even when they're acquitted, they still end up in prison. Be careful about how fast you are with these judgments, because you never know when it's going to be your time and who you wish to show compassion. Conjugal rights in Jamaica is not necessarily a bad thing. And if you don't want men having sex with each other, that's a good solution. If you don't want women having sex with each other, then if she is heterosexual, I see no reason why she should not be able to have these visits with persons who have demonstrated that they are a family, they have a long-term relationship. What do you think? Let me hear. Be blessed, everybody.